This is my audience. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or the UDHR, is a document that our Constitution is based off of. In Article 2 of the UDHR, it states, "Everyone is entitled to all rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without distinction of any kind." Human rights are something that everyone should have, according to this document. But if everyone is entitled to these rights, then why are they constantly taken away from us? Everyone in this audience has unique experiences that have shaped them into the person that they are today. And with these experiences come many different perspectives throughout our society today. However, regardless of these differences, at the end of the day, we are all human. And more often than not, many members in our society are not treated as such. I have read many articles about the social injustices within our country today and throughout history. I have also researched many nonprofit organizations that directly help with social injustice issues. And lastly, I have written many essays about social injustice itself. If human rights are supposed to be birth-given, then they should not constantly be taken away. The three main points I am going to discuss today are immigration, access to healthcare, and brutal prison conditions, and how they all infringe on our human rights. Part of basic human rights include not being discriminated against for any reason. However, the immigrants that inhabit our society do not receive this proper treatment. They are constantly belittled, stereotyped, and offered little to no compassion throughout their day-to-day life. It's almost as if they are not seen as human. According to USAFacts.org, about 13.6% of our population is made up of immigrants, meaning that 13.6% of our population does not receive the human rights that they should automatically have within this country. Human rights are not something only for the people born in the US. It should be given to all. It should be a basic necessity. Which brings me to my second point. Human rights are to offer basic necessities, for example, healthcare. But healthcare is not offered. It is something that we must pay for when really it should be part of our standard of living. According to Arizona State Law Journal, it states, "Thanks to this century of failed reform, the United States has been left with a healthcare system that is very unusual. Even after many bills have been made to reform our broken system, it still cannot be mended. And to this day, healthcare is not easily accessible for many. Countless Americans still deal with endless amounts of medical debt without healthcare insurance. And our system proves time and time again that they lack compassion for these people." And lastly, the cruel treatment of the incarcerated. The human beings that inhabit our United States prisons are abused mentally and physically while being surrounded by violent environments 24/7. But the most cruel treatment that is still used to this day is solitary confinement. According to New York Times Magazine, it states, "Solitary confinement causes post-traumatic stress disorder. Being locked in a 7 by 10-foot room with no windows and little to no entertainment for months or sometimes even years at a time is the complete opposite of having human rights." And this is an image to show a solitary confinement cell. Many of those in solitary claim that they would harm themselves just so that they could spend one night away from their solitary cell in the comfort of a hospital room. This proves that as soon as you are locked up, all of your liberty is stripped away from you. All in all, human rights are something that everyone deserves, and they are not to be something to be begged for. The main points I discussed on how human rights are taken away and who they're taken away from are from the incarcerated, from those who do not have health care, and for immigrants. If the UDHR was used appropriately, the problems that I have listed would not exist today. They normalize ignoring the fact that we are all entitled to human rights. And if our Constitution lived up to its founding document, the UDHR, then even more problems that I haven't listed would also not exist today. And without social injustice itself, we would not have many problems in our society today. And many of those who experience social injustice would maybe get to know what it is like to be treated as a human. And here's my audience again.